This morning we filed a lawsuit along with the ACLU National and the law firm of Meyer Brown. It's entitled Wolf v. Walker, and we expect that this lawsuit will bring the freedom to marry to all Wisconsinites. We expect to demonstrate that Wisconsin's refusal to allow marriages or to recognize out-of-state marriages of gay and lesbian couples violates the fundamental right to marry, as well as the equal protection guarantee of the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution. These couples are being denied the basic protections afforded by marriage. They only want what every married couple wants: to express their love, commitment in front of friends and family, and the security and dignity that marriage provides. And I want to turn it over now to Katie and Judy first.
Good afternoon. I'm Judy Triumph, and this is my partner, Katie Haining. Katie and I met 30 years ago working at summer camp while we were still in college. We dated for a number of years, and then we decided we would move in together. This summer, we will be celebrating our 25th anniversary as a couple. Marriage is important to us for many reasons. One reason is for the ability to care for one another no matter what happens. In 2002, Katie had a seizure while we were traveling, and my authority to make medical decisions on Katie's behalf was challenged by the hospital because we were not married. And we were not blood relatives. Even though we'd been in a committed relationship for over 10 years at the time, the hospital felt Katie's brother, whom she hadn't seen since she was a child, should be making the decisions and not me.
We are in love and have made a commitment. Through thick and thin, we have been there for each other. Through the death of our parents, through buying our house, through remodeling our house, through illnesses, and through various surgeries. We have turned to each other for love, for support, for understanding, and for care. We have been, and we are, responsible for each other and understand what commitment means. And yet, because of a state law, we and thousands of other loving couples are being denied the freedom to marry. Marriage is about taking care of each other throughout life, and it's a public commitment that we want to make. We love each other, and denying us the freedom to marry just doesn't seem right.
I believe that we should be allowed to marry the person that we're in love with, and we deserve the freedom to do so. We now have an opportunity to fight to make that change, and we intend to fight as far as we have to go until there's the day that I can walk down the aisle with my partner and my love and marry her legally.
I stand here today fighting for freedom to marry the person I love, fighting the law that keeps us from doing what other couples have the right to do, get married. Sure, I can leave the state of Wisconsin and get married elsewhere. I could move to a more accepting state, but I work here, our children are here, my friends and family are here, my life is here, and I should have the right to marry where I live. I simply want the same protections that other couples are granted through marriage. I simply want the freedom to legally marry the person that I love. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Garth Wangaman, and my partner of 37 years, Roy Badger, and I live in Milwaukee. Roy and I met in 1976. We dated and got to know each other for 8 months. And then on November 7th of 1976, we sat down, discussed our feelings, and on that night we made a commitment to each other. And we used that date as our anniversary date. In 2009, after 33 years together, Roy and I became licensed domestic partners under Wisconsin law. While domestic partnership offers some benefits, in reality, it's not a legalized, recognized marriage, and this certainly struck home when I developed lung cancer 2 years ago. It resulted in surgery, and fortunately, Roy and I had medical power of attorney drawn up. I developed some serious complications, which resulted in me slipping into a coma for 4 weeks with 3 serious episodes where they had to call the family and say, "Do you want us to turn off the machine?" Where I included my father in discussions with the medical team when they would get a call like that. Unfortunately, my father thought that he, not Roy, had the right to make my medical choices for me. We later discovered that when I was in the coma, my father wanted to take me off life support, Roy did not. Even though my surgeon felt confident that I would pull through, my dad still wanted the machine shut off. He did not think I would pull through. My dad even went so far as to seek legal action to strip Roy of his powers for medical power of attorney. Obviously, Roy championed it, and he won the battle. If we had been legally married, no one would have even questioned Roy's involvement as my spouse. In this case, our being denied the freedom to marry was literally a near case of life and death.
Several years ago, I almost lost Garth to cancer. In the emotional time before surgery, we had to go running around drawing up legal papers to protect ourselves from all possible outcomes, something legally married couples take for granted. Now we face another battle. Garth lost his full-time job last year when his company had a mass layoff. Even though I have been a full-time worker for the state of Wisconsin since 1981, Garth had to accept COBRA insurance, and just this month wiped out our savings. We have been a couple since November of 1976. We have spent our time as any other couple. We've mowed grass, shoveled too much snow, gone grocery shopping, attended church, rooted for the Brewers and Packers. We've done volunteer work for many organizations. Just like other families, the only difference is because we are the same sex. Wisconsin denies us the freedom to marry. It's had to hide our love and commitment for each other. When we first got together in the 1970s, banks would not even allow us to get a joint checking account. It is much easier today, but we still must lie and file taxes as single adults. It hurts me that Garth and I are denied the same benefits and protections that my legally married friends, relatives, and co-workers enjoy. In many cases, Garth and I have been together much longer than they have, yet because we're the same sex, we're treated as second-class citizens.
Denying lesbian and gay couples the freedom to marry violates the fundamental constitutional rights we have as Americans. For that reason, the ACLU has made this work a priority nationally, where we have lobbied state legislatures, waged ballot campaigns, and filed lawsuits. We're counseled now in 6 federal lawsuits seeking the freedom to marry, including Wisconsin. Those states also include Pennsylvania, Virginia, North Carolina, Ohio, Oregon. We're also counsel in a lawsuit in Utah on behalf of same-sex couples who were married there after the judge's favorable decision, representing them because the state is now seeking to undo those marriages to treat them as though they never happened. We're assisting in an additional federal case in Michigan. Wisconsin's ban is especially egregious. First, its constitution bans marriage and anything substantially similar, such as full civil unions. Second, Wisconsin law criminalizes leaving the state to marry if the marriage is prohibited or void in Wisconsin. Together, these laws force same-sex couples to choose between missing out on federal spousal protections or leaving the state and facing the risk of criminal prosecution with penalties up to $10,000 and 9 months in prison. As a result, Wisconsin's law is uniquely harmful to same-sex couples. These couples standing before you are fighting for one of the most personal and important choices we can make in life. Our choice to fall in love, form a family, and commit ourselves to one special person for life. The government has no business denying that freedom to loving same-sex couples, and we're confident that the courts will agree that doing so violates the U.S. Constitution.